So imagine you're just casually browsing YouTube, trying to watch a perfectly normal video, and suddenly the screen freezes up and a massive digital roadblock appears demanding you scan your physical driver's license or run a credit card just to prove you are an adult. Like, we aren't talking about the good old days where you could easily just fake your birthday on a quick drop down menu and move on with your day. Google has been quietly rolling out massive updates to their terms of service, and they are essentially locking the most basic parts of the internet behind a mandatory age verification wall that requires highly sensitive real world identification. And here is the absolute wildest, most concerning part of this entire situation that a lot of people completely missed. If you choose to use a credit card to get past this digital bouncer, Google literally admits in their official fine print that they will be retaining your financial data for an unspecified amount of time to meet quote unquote legal and regulatory requirements. Like, imagine just wanting to log into your Gmail, look at a Google Doc, or watch an age restricted clip, and realizing that in order to keep using your own account, you are essentially being forced to hand over your bank details or biometric face scans to a massive tech monopoly. This isn't just some crazy far off conspiracy theory or a fake future scenario either, because everyday casual users all over the internet are waking up to these incredibly ominous emails telling them they have exactly 14 days to prove their age or risk having their entire Google account straight up disabled and wiped out. People are completely panicking because the internet is rapidly shifting from a place of relative freedom and anonymity into a heavily corporate, restricted zone where your real world identity is permanently tied to your late night browsing habits, which is just kind of freaky. If you actually sit down and read the exact text of the email updates rolling out to every single person with a Google account, the reality of where the digital world is heading becomes incredibly bleak, especially for casual users and families. The new terms explicitly state that if a child is using any Google service, the parents are now fully legally responsible for every single thing that account does. And the moment Google's automated backend algorithm suspects that an account doesn't meet the minimum age requirements, a countdown clock begins. To prove you're old enough to manage your own digital life without a parent monitoring you, Google pushes the credit card method as a quick, seamless fix, telling you that they will just place a temporary authorization request on your card to confirm it is valid. But when you look underneath the hood of how banking systems actually interact with these tech companies, that temporary hold can just sit there pending in your account for anywhere from 1 to 14 business days, depending entirely on your bank, which is an incredibly invasive financial footprint just to verify an age. And it gets so much worse because Google openly acknowledges that they will retain this financial data as necessary to meet regulatory obligations, completely failing to specify a clear deletion timeline or a definitive retention window. It is the peak of corporate hypocrisy when you realize these same terms strictly forbid users from abusing AI services or uploading deceptive content, yet Google is actively using service providers to analyze our saved data, emails, and watch history to train their own massive machine learning models behind our backs without ever asking for our true permission, which is just pure insanity. The fallout from these age verification requirements hits regular, everyday viewers just as hard as it hits people who actually upload videos to the platform, creating a system of censorship and data collection. For the casual viewer who just wants to scroll through their feed, being marked as under 18 or refusing to comply with the ID request means you are instantly locked out of a massive chunk of the internet, including age-restricted content, specific community features, and advanced settings. But if you do ever try to manage a small channel or upload anything, the restrictions become an absolute chokehold because Google ties this verification directly into what they call advanced features. Without handing over your legal documents, you are completely banned from doing basic tasks like putting a clickable external link in your video description, pinning a comment to talk to your audience, creating video chapters, or embedding a live stream, and you are literally ineligible to ever apply for the monetization program to make money from your content. Now, to be completely objective, Google's official documentation does state that most active channels can eventually unlock these features naturally over a couple of months just by building up a clean, compliant channel history without violations. But if you are a regular person who accidentally gets flagged by a glitchy algorithm or a new user who needs immediate access to standard platform tools, Google essentially forces you into a corner where your only choices are recording a live video selfie, scanning a passport, or giving up your credit card info. When you step back and look at the bigger picture here, you quickly realize this isn't just Google acting on its own. It is part of a massive, highly synchronized international movement where governments are fundamentally rewriting how the internet functions for everyone. Lawmakers all across the United States and Europe are introducing sweeping digital identity and child safety laws that place massive financial liabilities on big tech companies, threatening them with fines up to 10% of their global revenue if minors access adult platforms. Because tech executives are absolutely terrified of a catastrophic compliance violation, they are aggressively building these digital checkpoints and changing their terms to state that in certain regions they are legally required to pass your verified age information directly along to third-party developers and outside companies. So if you want to play a mobile game or log into a third-party app using your Google credentials, your identity status is being quietly broadcast across a shadow network of contractors and data processors just to clear a legal hurdle. It completely defeats the entire purpose of a supposedly private ecosystem when your real photo ID, device hardware specifications down to the camera, and IP address are being constantly logged and tracked behind the scenes. The classic era of an open, easily accessible internet where you could just click around and enjoy content anonymously is rapidly being replaced by a heavily gated corporate web where you are constantly required to show your papers to a trillion-dollar company. At the end of the day, the biggest question on everyone's mind is what actually happens to that mountain of sensitive biometric data and government documents once you finally cave and upload them to Google's servers. There is a tiny bit of comfort, I will say, as if you read their support pages, it states that if you go the route of the live video selfie or the government ID scan, that specific verification data is usually automatically deleted after a few months once your account establishes a trusted history or after 1 year if you remain inactive. But even if they clear out the raw image of your face, the underlying corporate profiling, the permanent records of the websites you attempted to access, and the financial tracking logs from your credit card verifications stay deeply embedded in their infrastructure. It is a completely wild reality where the line between your physical legal identity and your casual internet browsing habits has been completely erased, forcing everyday consumers to make a daily choice between total digital isolation or absolute data surrender. We are firmly stuck in the middle of a high-stakes tug-of-war between aggressive politicians demanding absolute control over the web and massive tech giants who are more than happy to hoard our personal data to cover their own legal liabilities. It is an incredibly important shift that every single person needs to carefully think about before they just blindly hit the agree button on that next mandatory terms of service pop-up. So yeah, that's it for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you next time.